This is Monday Motivation and Mike, and I am your host, Michael Wainwright. In charge of all the controls of the show is Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that can and will change your life. You can contact us at info@mx3.vip and find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@mx3podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all of the new content, which comes out every Monday morning around 9 o'clock. And as a matter of fact, Jason, the recording of this show is number 155. So our next episode next week will be 156, which will be the completion of 3 years of Money, Motivation, and Mike. And we'll be entering into year 4. How about that?
Exciting stuff. Still at it.
Still at it. Still trying to bring a little bit of content to the world. And throughout that 3 years, we've had our YouTube channel 2.5 of those 3 years, because we started it up in January. We started YouTube in January of 23. We started the show in July, the first Monday of July 22. So thank you once again, the 162,356 subscribers to our YouTube channel to go along with all of our listening podcasters. Still have a lot of people who listen and don't view, Jason.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
And you've got 162,000 plus views.
Well, and if any of the YouTubers are like me, they usually have it going in the background, even when they're driving down the road. You're not watching it. You're listening to it.
If they ever got on the YouTube channel and saw how pretty I am, they would never listen again. They would always view.
That was about what I was going to say.
Yeah. With my radio voice.
I have been told that people turn this on just to hear you talk so they can go to sleep.
Yeah, I put them all to sleep. I am good for something.
I take it as a compliment for the smooth voice.
Definitely can ramble. All right, moving right along here. Jesse, what do you think Walmart and a snake have in common?
Aren't they both snakes?
Oh, gosh. All right, scratch that. Make sure when you're editing, bleep that part out.
Oh.
All right. Yesterday, in our local Walmart, you could find both at the same place. You could go to Walmart, and you could find a lady shopping for groceries with a snake wrapped around her neck. How about that, sports fans? Okay. Now, something I've talked about on this show many times. Dogs, cats, especially dogs. I shouldn't say cats. Your animal.
Yeah.
And probably most of the time it's a dog, is allowed to just about go anywhere. I haven't seen a dog at a funeral yet, but I know it's coming. Haven't seen a dog at a marriage. Haven't been at a wedding in a long time. I know it's coming. But nevertheless, there was a lady walking around in our local Walmart that had a snake wrapped around her neck. As she was approached by the Walmart tenants, you know that conversation was probably, don't need to have that snake in this facility. And I'm sure the backlash came. Now, what involved in the conversation? Do not know the content. You can only guess based on the reaction. Why are you allowed to walk into Walmart with your dog and I can't bring in my snake?
CNI dog. Emotional support dog.
That's another, we've talked about it. There's another abusive thing, the service dog.
Well, service dog I'm okay with. It's the emotional support dogs or animal, for whatever that means.
Yes, I'm okay with the service dog as well, included on an airplane. But a Chihuahua for a service dog, a Cocker Spaniel, are those...
They're leading the way.
Yeah, the poodle. Those are the new service dogs. Nevertheless, at our local Walmart, a lady was shopping groceries with a snake wrapped around her neck, and I'm sure, like I say, she rebutted due to the fact that everybody else is allowed to bring their animal into the location. There's nothing on the front door that says only dogs allowed. Wonder what they'd do tonight if we walked in there, Jason, with an alligator on a leash.
Those little small ones, about 3 foot.
No, one of them big ones, not 12-footers.
Yeah. I'll watch from a distance, let you try it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, a crocodile hunter man is no longer with us, I know he'd do it. But I don't know how you tell her she can't walk in with her snake when you don't tell the guy or gal that walks in with their dog. And the animal rights activists will go crazy. Go crazy. As I have understood it, the little head on that snake was not just laying on her shoulder. He was moving around.
So was this at your local Walmart?
It was.
Okay. I didn't know. I was thinking you had saw it on YouTube or something.
No, that Walmart you go to, you can go in there and find gorillas and chimpanzees, and most importantly,
that one up in Oklahoma.
That one up there in Oklahoma, by the way, you can go in there and you can find people. This is no kidding. This is no kidding. I've been in that Walmart because I used to live up there.
Yep.
And I used to go in there late because that's whenever I returned back to the city. And Friday night at that local Walmart up there, just north of the Red River, is a very entertaining thing. If you are out on the town and it's boring, go to your local Walmart and be entertained. Because at that Walmart, number one, more than a handful of people will walk in there with no shoes on. Yeah. Number two, numerous babies, I'm going to say less than 2. Nothing on but a diaper. It is.
Well, there's not much to do around old Durant up there. So
what? So you take your kid to the Walmart naked.
I think that's the entertainment on Friday, Saturday nights.
Yeah. I have actually witnessed a diaper changing activity on the cereal aisle at that local Walmart you're talking about. Yeah. Guess what I did? I didn't buy any cereal. I just kept walking. Weak stomach. All right. Enough on that. But get your snake ready, and don't be surprised what you see next time at, I don't know, is it the biggest grocery store, one-stop shop chain in the world? It's.
I don't know of any others.
Yeah, I guess the three major owners, the 3 children, 3 of the top 10 richest people in the world.
Yeah.
After division.
Yep.
Moving right along. What would you say is the percentage of our population who can't afford a funeral?
20%.
40+% cannot afford to put their loved one in the ground. Now, obviously, the loved one typically is the one who has set themselves up or not set themselves up in this particular case. Right now, the average cost of a funeral in the United States of America is $7,000 to $10,000. Obviously, depending on what all you buy, but that does include the tombstone, the grave fees, the transportation, the flowers, etc. That's turnkey, $7,000 to $10,000. How many people do you think don't have at least a life insurance policy to bury them? 70.
I say it's going to be way up there.
Yes. Now, that other 30%, let's assume that most of them have put back a few dollars to put themselves into the grave. There's a deal called a pre-need that can also help you out in that. Now, the reason this is brought up is I was looking through a magazine. Actually, matter of fact, I was looking through AARP and term life insurance, and I am a big term life insurance person. Term life insurance versus the whole and the universal and all them other things. Buy term, invest the difference is what I grew up with. And I'm looking at this. Now, this is non-smokers, and this is males. You are somewhere between 60 and 64 years old. I'm going to go with 64. For $24 a month, you can own a $10,000 life insurance policy. There is no waiting period. I'm not promoting AARP. And as a matter of fact, I'm not even promoting the particular life insurance company that is thrown this ad into that particular magazine. For $24 a month, a male can get $10,000 worth of life insurance. All right? I just said that the average cost of a funeral is $7,000 to $10,000. The average lifespan of a male is now 75.8 months. All right? 75 and 8 months, not 0.8 months. So you're 64. According to the average, you have 11 years left of life. So you go take $24 a month times 12 months, that's only $288 a year to have enough money for a normal average funeral to bury you. Over the course of the next 11 years, you will have only spent $3,168 to have a $10,000 funeral. And that's the way you've got to look at it. That is the way you look at it. Those are the numbers. People have to figure out how to get involved in something like that if they don't have the coverage or the money to put themselves into the ground. Also know that cremations are at an all-time high right now. But let's move along just a little bit farther. You're 64 years old. You, according to Popular, going to live another, the average population, you're going to live another 11 years. And for $94 a month, you can have $50,000 worth of life insurance. So I want to bury myself and I want to give my loved ones a little extra money on the back end to maybe go do something with or whatever it is they want to do. $94 a month times 12 months is $1,128 a year. Still less than a $100 bill a month, $94. And over the course of 11 years, that's $12,408 for a $50,000 policy. And it just goes up and up from there. You actually can get a $150,000 life insurance policy. You could get a $150,000 life insurance policy. Only requirement is you don't smoke for a male or a female at age 74. $150,000 at age 74. $469 for a male. Okay? So let's say $500. 5 times 12, $6,000. $6,000. You're 74 years old. And you live another 10 years. You have spent $60,000 for a $150,000 return. There would be no reason not to buy the life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You
now,
basically,
what does it mean when your wife has 2 policies on you?
That
about $250,000 each.
You've got other issues besides worrying about how long you're going to live. Matter of fact, you probably ought to drop by the local funeral home on the way home tonight and make final preparations. Just a thought. My personal brotherly advice to you, being your older sibling, is I would consider that. Average female living to be 81 in 1 month. Average male, like I say, 75.8. And there you go. You need to consider that. Most people look at insurance as a waste. And we all know that insurance is way too high. And one of my best buds in the world is my insurance agent. Never shopped prices, never will. He's the only insurance agent I've ever had since I left mama and daddy. So,
I think I pay $30 a month for $250.
That sounds cheap. Now, of course,
I've had it a long time.
Yeah, and of course, you got that a long time ago, and you're not between 60 and 64 years old. See, yeah. Let's just see right here for me.
My premium hadn't changed, so I'm assuming it just continues on at that price. So
now, I have life insurance, and I fall into the 55 to 59 for $10,000 worth of insurance. Never smoked. $18.
Yeah.
For $150,000, Jason. $157. And the female's only $94 if you're 55 to 59 years old. Now, with that being said, and I just gave you the lifespans, 75 plus for males, 81 plus for females. Now, tell me this. That's the average lifespan here it is today. Now, let's go back 75 years to the 1950s. Why were our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers living longer than we do? And that's just a broad question. Why? And let me give you this. In the year 1950, Jason, only 2,300 people turned 100 years old.
Okay. That's way down there if you ask me.
That's right. In 2024, 101,000 people celebrated birthday 100.
People living longer.
And these people were born in the 1920s. They were born before the Great Depression. Now, why are they living longer than the baby boomers, Generation X?
Well, you also got to consider, too, the population boom, right?
Yeah, we have it. Yeah, that's right.
Because more people out there.
We're at 300.
It could be the same percentage, but our population has grown so much.
2,300 to over 100,000 in a 75-year span now turned 100.
Yeah.
And that's from that group, like I say, that was born in 1924. And see what it's going to be from 1925. We're talking about people for the next 5 years that were born before the Great Depression even happened. So they survived through some struggling times. These kids that are now turning 100 grew up in a time where they didn't know where they were going to eat. They're watching people jump out of buildings. Go back and study the Great Depression. It is depressing. It really is. Now, doom and gloom, continuing on. There's always that saying that there are two guarantees in life: death and taxes. There's becoming 3 guarantees in life. This third one is not the biggest, but it almost seems to be gaining ground, and of course statistics show that. Divorce, death, and taxes. Yes, exactly right. Our divorce rate is continuing to be over 50%. In a first marriage, those who divorce, average years of a first marriage for a divorce is 8 years. Highest divorce rate in the United States of America. Any idea?
We go California.
Arkansas.
Really?
Top 3: Arkansas, Nevada, and Oklahoma. I think what the deal is these people don't like their spouses taking their children into Walmart with no shoes on. So they get divorced.
I understand. That would give me pause about my wife.
Lowest divorce rate in the United States of America. Any clue?
I must say it's a northeastern state.
It is a northeastern state.
Okay.
Vermont.
Okay.
9.2%. That is low.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
I think because they're so far up there, there's nobody else to marry. So they just stay with the one they've got.
You might be onto something.
Vermont, Massachusetts, and Illinois. Of course, Massachusetts is right there below Vermont. Same situation.
Yeah.
I mean, you go east, you jump in the water. So you just stay where you are. That's what I'm going with. I guess with my scenario there should be no divorce rate in the city of Miami, since they've got it on 3 sides. Okay, like I say, first divorce, right now, all divorces, over 50%. All the population, over 50%. First marriage lasts 8 years. If you get married for a second time, divorce rate is between 60 and 67%.
So it went up?
It goes up.
Oh.
Second marriage. You thought it was going to be better than the first. You find out it's not even as good as the first.
Yep.
Got to go, baby.
Yep. And then the third time's a charm, right?
You want to know what the third one is? Because I've got it.
Go for it.
70+% divorce rate on a third marriage.
Wow.
Yeah. Average cost of a divorce in the United States of America is between $7,000 and $15,000. Unless you're like one of my friends who, to protect the innocent, will not be mentioned, but has been divorced 5 times. One time, all there was to argue over was the barbecue grill. So
that's all he had left.
That's all she had left.
Oh, see.
He didn't get the barbecue grill.
Gotcha.
$7,000 to $15,000. Yeah. So, as of those of you who don't know, Jason and I, of course, our last name is Wright, so that we probably have the same biological father. We have different mothers. We both come from a broken family. We both grew up in a broken family. We then, Jason, created a broken family by getting divorced. As a matter of fact, see, now, knowing your wife very well, let's go back over here to this third marriage. I'm not going to mention how many times Jason's been married and divorced, but let's go to the third marriage.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
I believe 100% with all my heart that you will die with your current wife.
I believe that as well.
There's only a 30% chance you will. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
I'm going to call the AARP and tell them they got these numbers wrong. All right. 40% of the children, this includes you and me, and of course the children that we have, been involved in the birth of, 40% of the children in the U.S. experience a divorce by the age of 18. I've also know of numerous adults that have watched their children get divorced after 50 years of marriage, etc. And I can't imagine this. It's because you're younger and you don't really know. It's much harder on the adult children than it is on the young children. Yeah. And I can't imagine it being any more difficult on the young children that it is, knowing that I was one of them. 19 million children live in a single parent family home. 19 million. There is no male or female. There's no mother, there's no father, one way or another. In this country right now, where we say we have as little of assets as we've ever had, we have as little of income money in the bank as we've ever had, where the average person who doesn't own a house percentage-wise is increasing. 63% of the people who get married today sign a prenuptial agreement. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
The fact that you need one.
The fact that you need one.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to marry you, but just in case.
Yes.
Death may not do us part, but this prenuptial will.
If you spent many years building up something and then you meet somebody, you have to sometimes wonder, are they coming in for the right reasons? So I can see where
you'll start judging people, Jason.
Well, I mean, you never know. Some good actors nowadays.
All right. As we know, only one person in most states can file the divorce. What do you think? Who do you think files the most divorce, men or women?
I would lean towards women.
It is women.
Yeah.
So of that 100%, what percentage you going with on how many women file for the divorce?
I'd say about 68%.
You looking it up on that end of the table?
Literally, I'm not. How close am I?
70.
Oh. I wanted to say 70. I thought it'd be more accurate. 68.
For those of you in the audience, the viewing and listening audience, most of the things that I talk about on here, I do not go over with Jason. He's hearing it for the first time as well. So the 68%, I guess after 3 years, it's finally time you get something right down there. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Moving right along, because I think I've covered all that. So with that in mind, this is out of Money Saver. and I'm just going to run through these. We all know about the 10 Commandments, or we should know. The 10 Commandments of a late life divorce. Now, the purpose of this, being a money saver article, is to continue to make your finances whole after this divorce. All right? Going all the way back to Adam and Eve, brethren. All the way back. Number 1 is thou shalt not covet a bygone lifestyle. You may want to keep some aspects of your life the same. Number 2, thou shalt not worship thy house. Many divorces, one of the spouses, stay in the home. And it's not because of the memories. It's because of the stability possibly of the children. Money Saver says that's a no-no. Because that spouse, that couple bought that house because that's the money they had. Now we're living on this amount of money. And it's a bad idea because that particular individual cannot afford that house by themselves. And that's why thou shalt not worship thy house. Number 3, thou shalt heal thy state's rule of division. Abide to the state laws that you live in is what that's saying. And 50-50 equal is the way you should go. Now, in the state of Texas, at one point in time, and may still be, in the state of Texas, what that would mean is that it's old school. And if one spouse can prove on the other adultery, that percentage can go up to 2/3. 2/3, 1/3. Number 4, thou shalt share the fruits of thy labor. Be reasonable. Try not to run over the other spouse. Share equally and accordingly and go on down the road. Number 5, knoweth that not all assets are created equal. Okay, so in negotiating, be mindful of how taxes can affect the value of different assets, and also an asset that you may end up with today could be worth a whole lot more or a whole lot less at a later time. So that's what we're talking about here. And the tax ramifications, typically one spouse makes more money than the other. And when you go to a single status, the person who makes the more money is going to have a higher tax bracket than the other person. So you have to be conscientious of the fact that you're taking on this asset and this liability, but it may accrue you more tax than what you're accustomed to. I just consulted with a senior citizen, elder lady, whose husband has just previously passed, and her tax situation obviously changed because she's went from a married to a single status. And with her income, that has drastically changed her end of the year taxes from the retirement accounts that she's worked so hard, her and her spouse, to accumulate. Number 6, thou shalt not count on the ex's financial help. Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly right. Expecting to get paid will put you in bankruptcy. So, the divorce is bad enough. You got to go get financial divorce because you are expecting the ex's payments and their financial help. You may be going down a bad, wrong road. Number 7, honor and protect thy children. If your kids are younger than 18 or they haven't graduated from high school, how much you pay or receive on child support will be determined by the state. Most states it's about 20%. Your child's lifestyle should not go up or down. It definitely should not go down based on your parents going their separate ways. But nevertheless, a lot of people take those children and use them as pawns. You're not getting to see him or her until you do this. It's a bad deal. I have seen it as the child. I've seen it as the parent. I have seen it as the father of a child who has divorced. Number 8, thou shalt not covet thy ex's prized possessions. So, you better get what furniture, jewelry, artwork, photos, etc. that you want before you sign that divorce decree. And number 9, thou shalt not act out in a vicious way. Squash the urge to punish your ex-spouse. And so many of us do not. They are just fine with stepping on the neck every other day. And that's where that child deal comes into play too. We both know it. We both experienced it. Number 10, and most importantly, thou shalt move forward. Can't live in the past. We can only live in the future. Live in the present and the future. Dwelling on the past will do nothing but spend negative energy on a lot of things that are not important and a lot of things that you wish you could forget. You have to find a way to do that. That comes back to that mindset that we talk about with the motivational part of this show of Money, Motivation, and Mike. Peace and freedom are deeply satisfying things. And what someone else thinks, doesn't do during your divorce proceedings and the days and months and years after, not necessarily have any reflection on you, even though you are probably the main topic of conversation. Nobody knows what goes on in that house besides you and that spouse. Unfortunately, sometimes the children know a little bit more than they should know, but nobody knows all of the facts one way or another. But we are so quick to judge, so quick to take sides, and not very quick to support. I've seen it as the child. I've seen it as the father, and know all these things very well. As a matter of fact, when I read the Money Savers 10 Commandments of the Late Life Divorce, a lot of these things struck a nerve with me, either as the child, as the parent, as the father, the husband, so forth and so on. But there it is. Money, Motivation, and Mike not only covers all of the positives, but we also have to cover some of the negatives. Now, negative on most people's level, divorce on most people's level, is a negative. And probably on all of us is trying to find peace and communication. As a matter of fact, I didn't touch on this. The number one cause of a divorce is communication. The number 2 cause of a divorce is finances.
Believe it.
And most people would say it is infidelity. It's on down the list. Communication, number 1. But as we've talked about before, communication is the number 1 thing in mostly all of your aspects of life, good and bad. As I've always said, good news can be delivered at any time. No one's sitting there griping at you because you're bringing good news tomorrow instead of today. Bad news has to be delivered immediately. As always, you can contact us, info@mx3.vip, and find all of our content at mx3.vip. Or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@mx3podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And of course, as you are on YouTube, as Jason always says, go down and comment in the space below and give us back your feedback, not only to us, but for the rest of the world to be able to see as well. So once again, as we finish up episode 155 and move in next week to the last episode of year 3. For Money Motivation and Mike and everyone who's been a part of this show, continue to live your life the right way.